What's going on, Cover Killer Nation? Welcome to the inaugural edition of Rock City. Not to be confused with Rack City, not to be confused with Bohemian Rock City or Bohemian Rhapsody, not to be confused with Rock City and Bebop. If you have any other terrible jokes about the name of this show, please feel free to pay them a visit in the comments and let everybody laugh, because I really need to. Got some boxes next to me here, getting ready for the big move. I'm getting off topic already. Rock City is going to be where I'm going to get the chance to talk to you guys about some albums that have come out in the alternative, the independent rock, and just overall the rock and roll field that I typically wouldn't maybe give to, an entire video to. This is a great way for me to do a couple in one video and really get them out of the way for one, and for two, I get to tell you guys what I think about these records, because I had the opportunity to listen to them, whether it be at work or on my own accord, whatever it may be. So this is a great way for me to kind of give you my views on these records, you know, every little bit at a time, and something I hope to be doing, you know, not once a day or once a week or anything like that, just every once in a while, so definitely stay tuned. And hopefully, if you guys are in the rock music, this is your first time visiting Cover Killer Nation, and you're seeing a lot of metal, you're thinking to yourself, shit, this might not be for me. Well, yes it is, because we're going to be talking about a lot more rock as well. So let's get right to it. Mirage Rock by Band of Horses is going to be the first topic of conversation, mainly because this is an album that's followed up Infinite Arms, which gained them exposure to a much wider audience a couple of years back, and I honestly have missed the Band of Horses boat up until this point. So whenever I had the opportunity to listen to Mirage Rock, I definitely took the opportunity, because people were talking about it, things like that, and I wanted to know what it was all about. And whenever you think of Band of Horses, you kind of think of this like post-hardcore, like semi-metal, semi-punk type thing, or you know, the name alone, given what names these days have really meant as far as musicality and genre are concerned, really is kind of a misnomer, because this is just a very, there's a great balance here between the soft and the hard, with a more accentuating focus on the soft. Very, very nice vocals, just very flowing vocals with very atmospheric soundscapes behind it, just soft instruments. With the exception of tracks such as Dumpster World, where they're able to kind of do this yin and yang type thing and kind of balance between the softness of the introduction and then the harshness for them. For them it's harshness, but more metallic version of their chorus. I really like the way that they do that. The vocals are something that are a huge plus for me. I really enjoyed listening to this, and now I'm digging into their back catalog, because I really enjoyed Mirage Rock a great deal. Along those same lines, about a month ago, I think, it's been a couple of weeks, we got Gossamer by Passion Pit, and I posted a song on my Facebook from Passion Pit just about a week ago, or maybe even less, and I definitely need to talk about this, because this is just it's a strange album, but it's strangely alluring. Like, it has all of these different, like, juxtapositions to it, and he's kind of throwing at you as many different electronic versions of his references and genres and his influences as he possibly can, it feels like. And the result sometimes can feel just a little bit jumbled. It can seem a little bit weird. It can really be off-putting, especially for somebody who likes something that's a little bit more grounded, or something that's a little bit more I guess straightforward. So this is something that's definitely not for everybody, but for what it's worth, there's definitely a great blend. There's a heightened variety on this album. The real, I guess, status quo for it is the fact that it is, you know, it's dance pop. It's creative, dancey, synthy pop that just has a real taste for, and a real knack for kind of going to that next spot that you really didn't expect it to go. The song that I posted on Facebook actually has more of a traditional pop structure to it, with that softness in the background and kind of that haunting little, like, Alvin and the Chipmunk style vocals, which is really weird. You almost hear that in like a trance techno song or something. But overall, this is an album that it's not great, but at the same time, it's not really a slouch. It constantly throws you curveballs, and it's kind of an interesting listen. But definitely listen at your own risk. If you like something that's a little more straightforward, this may not be for you. Something that's a little more straightforward may actually be the Dave Matthews Band with their new album, Away from the World. And of course, by straightforward, I mean you really kind of know what you're getting yourself into. You definitely know what you're getting yourself into if you're a long-time Dave Matthews fan, because he is hooked up with his producer from the 1990s, the same one that helped produce such hits such as Crash, etc., etc. And so that kind of meeting of the minds happening once again has a lot of fans excited, and this album went straight to #1 the week that it came out. And there's fairly decent reason for this. I mean, it is a Dave Matthews release, and they do still have a maintainable popularity that is just going to be ever-longing until they just decide to stop. But the album itself, for the hype of being hooked up with that same 90s producer, is kind of a little bit of a slouch. I'm not disappointed with it, don't get me wrong. It just doesn't feel like there's a number of zingers on here that I really enjoyed with some of those later 90s releases. There's a great deal of creativity. They've hooked up with some different people to play some keys and of course they have the horns and everything like that, so there's nothing that's changed really in that regard. But there's only a couple standout tracks here, and vocally Dave is kind of starting to push some boundaries here, and there's some boundaries that kind of borderline on Radiohead. There's one track where it definitely feels like a Radiohead vocal song in some locales, and I know that Dave has that traditional high howl, but at the same time this one was, well, higher and more Yorkier than usual. So overall, I like this release, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely something where I'm going to be more tempted to go back to the 90s and listen to that elder material than really embrace this album full scale. And I've listened to this album, gosh, it's countless times at this point because we've had it on at work. The next one I want to talk about is brand new. It is Green Day's Uno, and this is an album that for me was a welcome change because I really liked American Idiot, but 21st Century Heartache, or whatever you want to call it, it just, no. No. One was good, two was too much, and that album was just repulsive to me. Green Day's always been a band where I've kind of been on the fringe with them, it seems, and they always seem to deliver right whenever I'm about to sort of write them off. And after what Billy Joe Armstrong did at the iHeart Music Radio Festival last week, that may never happen again, just because that was just so cool. I would be pissed off at Usher, too, because, let's face it, he's fucking Usher. All he has to do is go up there and dance like a clown, and they're out there, performing their music, and they don't give two shits about dancing. Overall, Uno is a little bit more of a straightforward Green Day album, like you're accustomed to hearing if you've been a fan since the 1990s, since prior to American Idiot. If you are not, if American Idiot was your first exposure to the band, then welcome to what Green Day used to sound like. Except that there are some changes. There are definitely some infusions of the modern pop scene. I hear a lot of The Clash. There's some minimal Bruce Springsteen here and there. Definitely channels into that old school Green Day sound with a little bit of extra zazz and flair and extra material as far as influences are concerned, just to kind of dress it up a little bit. I'm interested to hear what the latter two albums of this series, Dos and Tres, are going to sound like after hearing Uno. I think Uno's a solid affair, but at the same time, it's just going to be a digestible one, I think, for some people because they are so used to Green Day in a certain format. So we'll see what happens there. It's been selling well, so we're going to see who ends up #1 between them and Mumford. It's going to be an interesting battle. Oh man, so we've already talked about 4 albums. Why don't we talk about one more? Let's talk about the new No Doubt album. Now, No Doubt, of course, has been gone for a while, and they have finally returned, and I gotta say that this album reads to me like the new Bush record. If you remember the Bush record, whatever it was, I forget, because I got rid of it like a week after I bought it. This is an album that really replicates that same feeling of just disappointment. I don't know what happened between No Doubt's finale and Gwen Stefani becoming a pop star and all that, but from the moment I heard the very first single, something just felt off about it. And a lot of people really enjoyed that song, and they felt that it was kind of No Doubt's way of, coming back here in 2012 and really establishing their identity once again on the scene. But it just feels like it feels like they're trying to dress it up too much for this new millennium and trying to attach themselves with a new breed of follower, and it really comes off very flat. It really doesn't come off as the flashy, the kind of excited material that I heard before. Whenever they were first getting big, the shades of Tragic Kingdom are just severed, and this is the first ever Rock City that I have to really report. This was not a good one, so there you have it. 5 album reviews in maybe 10 minutes. That might be a new record for me, as I typically spend 10 minutes on one. So it's definitely a new record. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this series. I really would like to hear your feedback on this, and whether or not you've learned about some bands or have finally decided to take the leap with some bands. Let me know. Give me some feedback. And if you have some requests for upcoming albums, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments, but understand that just like everything with the metal and stuff like that, and since I am moving and always working, that I'm not going to be able to get to everything. So just please understand that whenever you make your requests. Don't get mad at me if I don't do them. I will talk to you guys later. And yeah, see ya.